Hey everybody, Joy here. I've been working on this video for so long. I hope somebody will watch it. This is Saturday, April 12th. I started this video on April 4. So it's a real hodgepodge. I'm sorry if I lost you somewhere in there. You didn't want to hear about beavers or whatever. You cannot imagine how much I cut out. I told you so many things. And I thought, oh, it's turning out to be kind of a tutorial. So I just chopped everything off. So what you're going to see in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we're here and what's going on. And then I'm going to show you how I made this garment, Simplicity 8920. I'm going to show you where I got the fabric. I'm going to show you how I prepared the pattern, the Palmer and Plush way, and then I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to put it on so you can see it. I'm also going to show you another dress in red fabric that I made to go to the dinner the night before my granddaughter's wedding. I got a lot of compliments on that dress. So I'm really glad that I made it. And then I show you what pattern I used for that. So if you don't want to listen to me yak, which I understand. I watch a lot of videos. And a lot of times I'll just skip the talk. I don't care about that, I don't care about that, I don't care about that. And I just go to the part I care about. So feel free. Feel free. I wish you would watch the whole thing. I wish you would hit like. I wish you would subscribe. That would be wonderful. Because as they say, it helps my channel. So you do what you want to do. And hopefully you learn a little bit about how to prepare the paper before you cut out your fabric. That's my favorite thing to do and my BFF Philly's favorite thing to do. Because we have a lot of issues. We're old. When we were young, both of us could just like make a size 10. She could probably make a size 0. And would just make it and wear it. But your body changes so much after menopause. It really does. And yes, I made the one I've got on, and no, I don't know what pattern it was. There's a video someplace on my YouTube channel where I made this. Joy here. Joy here at my messy sewing room. Oh my goodness, this is hard for me to look at. I spent yesterday cleaning up our patio. You know, when you're not at your house very much, and your house is in the middle of the deep woods, it seems like some animal sends out a memo and says they aren't here. Come on, let's party on the patio. And especially up by the kitchen door and the windows. Yes, birds, come on, build a nest and get mud and sand and leaves and branches all over the patio. All of the, I'm trying to think of the names of animals. All of the raccoons, yes, the raccoons get invited and they come and they sit on the patio furniture. Yes, they do. I think they even give birth on it. There's something bad happens on the patio chairs. And the scorpions and the beetles and lots of different birds and what other kind of animals. Oh, there's the, what are they called, possums or opossums? Oh, and there's the ones that are built like tanks. What are they called? We had a baby one time and he didn't know that he was one of those. And so he was out in our yard all the time in the daytime. They're only supposed to come out at night, but he didn't know because his parents are dead or something. But anyway, I found him under a tree one day, and so I named him Armor All. And I told everybody we had a new dog named Armor All. They're like tanks. They have this heavy armor. And they come out at night and they dig holes in your yard. Armadillos, they're called armadillos. And so then, not only that, we also have a beaver that heard we weren't going to be here. And so the beaver brought his family over, and they decided to build a house in our pond, our big pond. And we have a neighbor across the pond, and he owns his side of the pond. And we own most of it, but he owns part of it on the other side. And he has killed 5 beavers. So sad for the beaver and his family, but there's still a beaver there. And he chewed down the biggest tree, you can't even believe it. I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to put it right here. So what did I make? So I'm going to a wedding, and yes, pardon my lovely, lovely outfit. Look at Lucy over here. She's dressed nice. Look at how nice Lucy looks in the outfit that I made a long time ago. It's spring and summer. I'd like to take this off of her and wear it myself. I'd like to get her to my other house, but she's big and she doesn't bend, and haven't figured out how to get her in a Jeep yet. If her legs would bend, you know, I could sit her in the back seat. If people would think there was a person back there without a head. But we can't do it because she's just stiff. So look at her. She has on a really pretty top that I copied. I copied a top that I found on the internet, and I copied it, and Philly and I both made it. So loving that. But yesterday I did make something, and it's all done. I just pinned the hem up, so it's just a hem with pins, and I'm going to sew the hem in it. But I made a long dress. It's for the night before the wedding, where, you know, everybody goes out to dinner somewhere. I don't know where we're going, but it's just a t-shirt dress, so it won't matter. So I think, do I just want to show you the dress, or do I want to put it on? I have to lose 5 pounds, so I think I'll just show you the dress. I have it all hemmed, ready to wear. I put it on yesterday, and Jerry loves it. So this is my dress to wear the night before the wedding to whatever restaurant we're going to. So I'm so excited to have it. I just love to have something, number 1, comfortable. Number 2, that fits my body perfect. Perfect length, perfect fatness built in. Narrow up here in the chest and the shoulders. So that's it. And I cut that out and made it all in less than a day. I didn't work on it, for heaven's sakes, 24 hours. Probably 6. But isn't that awesome? I just love that I know how to do that. And I think I told you in the video already, it's the Fit Nice Crissy square neck. Love it. I did have to make some adjustments. In the Crissy Fit Nice, there's a dart right here that's only 2 inches long. Mine is 4 inches long. I put it on and I had all this extra here when I tried it on. So I just took a deeper dart and lowered it. And so now, no lumps, no bumps. So what pattern did I use for that red dress? I used my Fit Nice system T-top pattern, t-shirt pattern. Don't have it out to show you, no. And I made the variation, the style, called Crissy top. Right here, Crissy top. Judy Kessinger. You know, I told you a lot of things about her in the past. And so she gives you these directions. They're in her book. It's Friday now. I think it's April 4. Oh, look at my new material. I don't know what the deal is with this fabric. I love it because I love its blue. And I love blouses that go with denim, with jeans. And so when I see prints like this, I always buy them. But, you know, I told you I was spending the day yesterday with Terry, my friend, that's my neighbor and my BFF down here in Kingston. And she's actually home these days. Oh my goodness, how nice is that? I got to spend the whole day with her yesterday, and I think I'm going to see her on Monday. And Terry has this new thing that she does. She's been doing it for a while, but she's become a rocket scientist of bread making. And so she has a rocket scientist budget to do it with. She said, what kind of mixer do you have? And I said, I have, well, one of those big, is it a Sunbeam or a KitchenAid? Big mixer, you know, it goes up and down, has a big bowl and the dough hooks and stuff. She said, that isn't going to be strong enough. You're going to have to buy a different one. I said, well, how much is the different one? She said, well, it's like $500 just to make bread. But I went over there yesterday, and she had a loaf of bread that was like this big, and then she had another loaf of bread that was like this big, and the little one was for me, which is like a full-size loaf of bread. Oh, talk about good. Everything in it's organic. It's got honey in it. The honey's organic. The wheat, you buy some kind of wheat, and then you have to have another machine to grind the wheat up. I think my brother actually does that. I remember him telling me he grinds his own wheat somehow. And when you do that, it's healthy because it isn't totally processed like, you know, the wheat at the store is. Bleached and everything good taken out of it. She said that the gluten doesn't even bother you. It's still in it, but it doesn't bother you because of how you make it yourself. So I got my own loaf of bread. She also has this new thing where she makes coffee. I don't know if she grows it in her backyard or what, but, oh. And not only that, when I was growing up, it's when they started pasteurizing and homogenizing milk. And my daddy just had an absolute fit over it. My dad grew up on a farm and they had cows. And so they got their own milk from their own cows. And he said it's just absolutely horrible, horrible what they're doing to the milk. And so Daddy found a farm that he could go to that had cows, and you could go there and you could buy normal milk right out of the cow. And it used to come in great big glass gallon jars. And we always had that kind of milk when we were growing up. Until we moved away and couldn't go to the farm anymore, I guess. But Terry and her husband have found a farm somewhere. And they go there and they get the milk right out of the cow. And she had a big plastic, it wasn't glass, it was plastic, it was a big plastic milk jug full of it. And there was like this big of a layer on the top that was pure cream. And we poured that in her coffee that she grows in her backyard or something. I don't know where she gets it, but it's really good. And I think she has a stepson that gets it in Georgia or something. I don't know. I forget half the stuff people tell me, you know. In fact, I told her, I want this written down. I want you to text me pictures, links, recipes. So we started out with coffee and toast, and then the rain quit. It was supposed to be rain and thunderstorms, but they quit. And so we went to Sherman, Texas, where there's still a Joann's and it's still open, which is where I got this fabric. But I'm telling you, there is no good deal there. No good deal. The sales they used to have when they were still in business were way better sales. A lot of things were picked over, but not everything. I found a bunch of buttons. The buttons were like 20 off. A lot of the fabric was 20 or 25 off. I just thought, big deal. My goodness, I used to buy quilting cottons there for 50 off all the time. So the sales weren't great, but I could tell a lot of the stuff had been sold, although there was way, way, way more still there. But I'm assuming it's because people are thinking, well, we're not going to be able to get it anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and buy it. Because it's sure not the prices that are getting people. Now this fabric, I don't know if it's, you know, really, really cheap fabric. It wasn't. It was like $11 a yard on sale. But it was on a shelf by the quilting cottons, and there was like 8 bolts of it, and they were short bolts. Well, it still looks 45 inches wide, but there were short bolts, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, And then there was some red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there was some other colors. 1, 2. And I thought, what, is this stuff really cheap? Or why are there so many molds? It was only like 3 or 4 different ones that were like that. But I just love the print on this. And I thought, well, I don't care if it's cheap or not. I like it. Look here at the strings on it. I like it, and I want to make a blouse to go with my jeans. So I think I bought 2.5 yards. And then I bought this knit that they've had. They've had it since I was a baby. Well, there wasn't a Joann's when you were a baby, Joy. But as long as I've been shopping at Joann's, they've had this knit. It's black with white polka dots. If you all go to Joann's, I know you've seen it. They've had it forever. I've made a blouse out of it before. But I really like it, and it's a quality knit. I know because I made a blouse out of it, and it's still nice, and I've been wearing it for years. So I decided to buy some more of it. No, $20 a yard, 20% off. Just a joke of a sale. But if you want to go there and get something before it's all gone, and they're closing that store in May, she said. Well, May's right around the corner. So I brought this home because, you know, I'm here in Kingston and I don't have my fabric store here. I have some fabric here, but not very much. And so I decided, in fact, let me tell you, did I tell you this already? Did I tell you when I went to see my GP? I got the cutest GP. His name's Dr. Roby. What's his first name? Alexander Roby. He used to actually be down here. He used to be in Sherman, Texas, and even up here in Madill, Oklahoma. And he moved up there, so I'm so excited. I mean, he knows the hospital Jerry went to. He used to work there, you know, when Jerry had his pacemaker put in. He knows my GP that I went to here. Just so nice. And everybody that we run into that knows him, they just think he's really nice and they like him. So we just got a great doctor. Jerry and I both go to him and both like him. And so, you know, he deals with us because we're old. And I guess the doctors have, you know, instructions from on high that if the people are old, you need to tell them how not to fall and how not to get hurt and how not to this and what to do if they get dementia and what to do if they don't get dementia, blah, blah, blah. So I told the doctor, he said, are you still taking this pill, this pill, this pill, this pill? I said, yes. But I said, I don't have a prescription for my Ambien anymore because I'm not going to that other doctor anymore. And I said, I quit taking all of the antihistamines I was taking. Cold turkey. No more Benadryl, no more Dayquil, no more Zizal, no more Zyrtec, no more. I've taken them all, y'all. In a bottle, in a box, in a whatever. I've taken them. And red. Don't you love when you drop something sharp? It goes straight in the floor. Always point first. Cracks me up. This wood floor up here has more holes in it. So anyway, I was telling him, I quit taking all those antihistamines because they cause dementia. He said, well, they don't really cause it, but, you know, they can aggravate it or make it worse or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said. But he said, well, you know, the Ambien is worse than the antihistamines. And I said, oh, really? He said, yes. He said, it's really bad about causing brain damage and dementia. And I said, well, I hardly ever take it. I said, you know, a bottle of 30 lasts me 6 months. And he said, well, that's good. But he said, what you need to do is you need to do new things. You need to stay busy. And I said, well, I'm busy all the time. I said, I cook, and I sew, and I quilt, and I do puzzles. I said, I really like puzzles. And I told him I did the word puzzles, and he said, you mean the jumble puzzles? And I said, yes, the jumble puzzles. I said, I've done books and books and books. I said, I can look at them, I can do one in less than 30 seconds. Unscramble the words and solve the puzzle, a lot of them. And he said, well, you need to do the number ones. Well, my friend Philly does the number one. She's a super brain. She's way smarter than I am. I hate those number ones. I can't even remember the name of them. They have a real dumb name. Sudoku or Sudoku or Soda. See, I'm horrible at the number one. I don't even know how to say the name of it. So he told me I needed to do those. And then I said, well, I sew and I quilt. And he said, well, then you need to do the new patterns. I said, did you hear that, Jerry? I said, I have got to get some new patterns. I absolutely loved it that the doctor said that. And of course, if you get a new pattern, you gotta have new material. Anybody knows that. So I have my duplicate patterns. I've got 2 boxes, little pattern boxes of duplicate patterns that I had, you know, when I was going through everything, moving to my other house. So I left all the duplicates here. So I'm going to go over there to my box, and I'm going to find a new pattern that I've never made before, and I'm going to whip up a pattern out of this pretty blue. You want to see it up close? I think it's so cute. And I would say it's cheap, you know, in price, but it wasn't. I just think it's so cute to wear with denim. So here's my boxes. All dupes, all dupes. Dresses, sets, sleepwear, pants, and toppers. This box is all tops. These are all commercial patterns. Some of them, like this one, I've made 27 times. But this is brand new. Hasn't been made. I opened it up and I was going to cut it out and make it last time I was here, and then I couldn't get it back in the envelope. So I had to put it in this, but it's still uncut because I decided to do something else. So I'm going to go through my box. That's obviously a woven, not a knit. And so I'm going to go through these woven patterns. Look at this one. Huh? Yeah. Now remember, this is just, I really like that. I might make that one. I think that's super cute. I really do. Square neck. Somebody told me, was it my friend Viv? You look really good in a square neck, Joy. Let me see. That one. I tell you, I've told Viv 1,000 times, she needs to send pictures of herself in these garments to Simplicity or to Mimi G or whoever, so they can put her on the front of these patterns. She makes them up and she looks so amazing in them. And some of the ones that they use to show these patterns on the cover, I'm like, oh my goodness. So, oh, that's a cute one. That's a cute one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But that one's more for leggings. You know, Peggy Sager, she's lives in leggings. I don't think I have ever seen her in anything but leggings. I love that one too. This one's really cute. Really cute. Well, Joy, if you'd hold it there more than 2 seconds. You know, anything that you see, this is Butterick 6765. Go to your computer, Google it, it'll come up. Probably take you to pattern review where you can see people who have made it. Don't like that. That's a woven, that's like a knit. So woven. I don't know if I like that knot thing. I got enough stuff sticking out from my belly. I don't need more knot stuff. Cute. Ooh, I like bows. But that one would show your bra. I don't think I want to show my bra. My bras are so old. Now this one has a bow in the front. Now I like bows. I like bows. I like the low bow. That would be easy. And I know how to tie a bow. But I don't know, this is probably supposed to be out of challis, Georgette, crepe de chine. It's supposed to be out of something soft and drapey, and that's anything but soft and drapey. That is super cute. I don't like it when it's full in the center front though. A pleat in the center front. It never does want to hang right on me. And again, you probably need something drapey for that. This one is for cotton types. Yes, I like that one. Maybe I'll do it. That one's Simplicity 8920. That's it for that. One of these 3 I'm going to choose. So I changed my mind. I decided I didn't want that one because it was too fitted. I decided I want something looser for that pretty fabric. So I'm gonna make this one. Now, I've already palmered and plushed this one at my other house, but this is this house, and it's brand new, hadn't been opened yet. So I make my patterns by my upper bust measurement. You come across your back, kind of where your bra is, and then you come up here. And you're measuring your bones. Well, in my case, you're measuring bones. Now, if I pull it pretty tight, let me see, I had it at 35 a minute ago. Let me try this again. Down there and up here. Okay, so you pull it pretty tight. I measure 36. My bust measures 42. So that's a lot of inches in between, see? I can pull it like this and it goes to 35. But I saw a girl yesterday say you're supposed to go down by where your bra is and then come up and crunch. So I always use 36. So what size am I gonna make? On the back of this pattern, it says there's a bust of 36. Yes. Now, here's the thing. Here's the embarrassing part. I used to have a waist. I should show you a picture of me just 5 years ago. I had a waist 5 years ago. I don't know where it's gone, but. So, my actual what's left of a waist is clear up here. So, I'm going to measure that. It measures 35. When I was 35, my waist measured 25. Now, my belly button waist, good grief, 38. Oh, is that sad or what? 38. I don't know if a pattern even goes that big in the belly button waist. And then my hips, I already know my hips are 42, 42, 42. So, since this top doesn't really have a waist, and it's a full top, I just have to get it to fit up here. Everything else is just gonna go out, and I'll probably end up taking it in a little bit because I don't like real full stuff on the top of me. Because I always look like I'm about to have triplets any minute. So I'm gonna start with the 36, even though if I use my real measurements, my 37 waist, did I have a 37 waist? I had a 35 waist, I think, so we'll start there. And my hip 42, I would have to make the size 18 to go by that. But to go by up here, I'm going to make the size 14. Now there is a Nancy Zeman method of measuring up here, and I used to use that. And when I use that way, and I know a lot of you have the Nancy Zeman book, and you say, do you do it the Nancy Zeman way? Hers is pivot and slide or something. I'm sure it works great. I don't know if she does it FBA. But her thing was to measure from your arm crease to your arm crease. And I used to measure 12 or 13. And when I used that measurement, I would have to make a size 8 or 10 pattern. And so I quit using that method. To me, that's just too little. And I know, because I've done it so many times, that I can make the 36 bust, which is my upper bust, and I know I can make it fit me really good. I will still have to do an FBA in it, because the 36 bust has a 28 waist, yeah, right, and a 38 hip. And I would have to make, I think I already told you, I would have to make the size, oh, not even the 18. If I made the 42 bust, I was going by the waist a minute ago, but if I made this by my 42 bust, I would have to make the size 20. And I'm telling you what, that size 20 would have shoulders way out here. The front would be gigantic. And it would just fit me absolutely. The armholes would be gigantic. So you'll see this is going to come out really good. I've even made it before, and there's probably a video on it somewhere, but you know, I don't remember what video does what, where, what or when. But I'm going to make this, and I'm going to try to do the one with the cute little ruffles, the blue one. I'm going to cut out in the paper the size 14. I'm really surprised that it's not the size 12. It usually is. But in this case, it's the size 14. So I'm going to cut out the size 14, front and back. I am going to put the full bust adjustment in it. I'm going to make sure the shoulders are 14 inches apart in the front, 15 inches apart in the back, and make sure that the top measurements are right all through here. And then the rest will just fall into line. So I'm just going to take you along this ride with me. I know I have a lot of new people. So what I do, where is my pretty colored pencil? You get a color, you got to have a color. So I circled the view that I want to make. I want to make view B. And so then I came down here and I found the view B cutting out chart. I don't need it, but when you find the view you're going to make, it always tells you what pieces to cut out because you're going to have more pieces than what you need. So I only need pieces 1 through 6 for top B. So I came up here and I just put a dash under 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Now, that doesn't mean that those are only for view B. They'll be, you'd probably use 1 and 2 for every single one of them. But just to make it easier, I mark that. Then I pull out the pieces that I'm going to need. You're not going to need anything for fitting to start with, except the front and the back. Now, fortunately, this goes up to a size 14. Or I would be in trouble. However, there is a show. You know about Crissy, don't you? Crissy has a whole bunch. My goodness, you can get Crissy sometimes for like $1.50, $3, really cheap. Oh, I don't like to cut the black off, but I accidentally did right there. And I'm just so picky, I'm going to tape it back on. Nobody has to be as picky as me. Nobody. And my whole family is super glad about that. They are super glad they don't have to be as picky as I am. Okay? So I'm going to cut it out outside the black line. Don't cut inside the black line. Cut outside the black line. So I'm only going to do the front and the back, and I'm going to start checking the measurements of the paper. I am doing the paper fitting method. I am actually going to pin this together in a little while and see if it fits me in the paper. Yes, center back and center front, you don't have to cut that extra off unless you want to. Mine's going to have a round back and a sway back in it. So I probably will end up cutting that off. I take it over to the ironing board and I press it. This one is already pressed. I'm going to go press the back. I don't know that all pattern papers are the same, but these commercial pattern papers I press with a hot, dry iron on the back. Now when I get through Palmer and plushing it, it's going to have Scotch tape all over the top of the pattern. You want to keep the Scotch tape on one side. Then when you go iron it again, which you will iron it from the back because the back won't have any Scotch tape. If you do it right. Sometimes I end up with Scotch tape all over the front, all over the back, and all over me. So, you do you. Oh, heavens. Now this is called Palmer and Plush. I've been doing it for years and years and years. I know you can't see my face and I don't like you to see my hands. Let me write it down. It is called, let me see if I have a fat marker. You can look this up on YouTube and you can watch them. Palmer and Plesh. Plesh has all kinds of extra letters in it. Palmer and Plesh. Look up on YouTube, do a search. Palmer and Plesh system, Palmer and Plesh fitting, Palmer and Plesh whatever. And you can watch them do it. You don't have to watch me. And there are several really good tutorials on Crissy. Crissy. If you go there and you act like you're interested and you give them your email and then you leave and you don't pay them any money, they'll get back with you and say, we'll let you have this for 5 cents if you'll come back. Just remember, anytime you give these places your credit card, they might give you a year for nothing. But when the next year comes around, they will charge your credit card automatically. So I always go right back in after I get my free year or my cheap year, and then I tell them they cannot charge my credit card after that. So you do you, that's what I do. So now you take your Etsy markers. Red is very good. Now you can use, sometimes you want the marks to stay, sometimes you don't. Some red pencils write, and you can actually see what they wrote. Other red pencils, I don't know if I have all the same kind. These are the same. Some red pencils you go like that and you can't even see it. My red pencils are Prismacolor, COL-erase, carmine red. You can see them, I like them. So, but not all red pencils are good ones. So what are we going to do? The first thing I'm going to do is see how far it is from center front. This is center front. I'm going to see how far it is from the center front of this pattern to the tip of the shoulder, to here. Center front to here. I am 15 inches from my shoulder tip to my other shoulder tip. Straight across. I'm 15 inches. Half of 15 inches is 7.5. And on the front you want it to be that. You don't need to add ease for the shoulder distance. So I am going to put this on a line that lines up with center front right here. Then, this is a real important thing to do. If you'll just do this and nothing else, except in this case you'd of course have to add for the waist and the hips. But this is a pretty big pattern, you might not even have to do that. So you have to have a measuring device. Rulers are good. All my nice rulers and everything are at my other house, of course, but we'll start off with this. 5/8 inch. Mark your 5/8 inch because you've got to find the shoulder tip. And the shoulder tip is inside the seam allowance. Okay? So right here, right there is the shoulder tip of this paper front. Right there it is. Right here is the center front and it lines up with this line right here. Because you can't measure sideways. I can't measure going up like this, you know. You got to measure straight across. So I'm going to set that down there. All right, so I'm going to start with 0. I'm going to come over here to this line that lines up with center front. Now, how much do I need? I need half of my total shoulder width. My total shoulder width is 15. Half of that is 7.25. 7.5. 7.5. And this is shocking because remember, I went by my upper bust. My upper bust was 36 inches. But instead of coming out 7.5 from center front to the shoulder tip, this is a shocking 10.25 inches. If I make that like that, now, let's stop and back up the truck. Back up, back up, back up. What if the shoulder hangs off of you? Let's check that. Oh, it does. It does. It does. The shoulder hangs off of the shoulder for this pattern. So, we have to determine if we don't care that it hangs off that far. Since it's supposed to, and the sleeve sews into it like that, I'm just going to leave it. But boy, 10, that's really a long way, you guys. Let's check if I was 7.5. Let me check the size 10 and see where I would end up. Even if I made the size 10, it would be 9.5. Yeah. So obviously it's supposed to fall off your shoulder. So what we will do is we're going to leave it there. We're going to say, oh, okay, it's supposed to be long. We're not going to change it. When we pin it together and we put it on our first try on the paper, we're going to try on the paper. If we feel like it falls off the shoulder too far, we can still come back and change it. But to start with, we're going to leave it like it is. You know, always check that. Same with the back neck. You know, the back neck is supposed to come up to that bone, you know, at the base of your neck. Well, if the back of the pattern is a style that, you know, the back of the back comes all the way down here, you're not going to be able to know. So you're going to have to go by your shoulders. You know, you'll see when I put this paper on. But that's the first thing I always check. So since it's supposed to be there, and this is the center front, and that's the shoulder, that's where it's supposed to be. Now what I could do is take a measuring tape, measure from there to here, 10.25 inches, hold it up to my body, and see how far it wants to come down. It comes down like 1.5 inches at least off of my shoulder point. But we're going to leave it there for now. What's the next thing I do? The next thing I do is mark the seam allowances. I want the seam allowances all the way down the sides. I want the seam allowances on the shoulder, so I can pin this together, hold it up to my body, figure out how far away center front is from me. It's not going to come to me because I'm making too small a size. This is for a 38 bust. This is for a 36 bust. I'm not 36. So center front ain't going to reach me. This is going to reach me up here. It's going to reach me fine. The armhole's going to be just fine. The shoulder's going to be just fine. But here, at the full bust, it's going to be at least 1 inch, 1.25 inches from reaching me. So that's how you play with Palmer Plesh. It is so fun. The back usually isn't a problem even on the smaller size. Usually the back can reach me pretty good. Sometimes I might have to add a 1/2 inch to the side seam. I don't know. I guess you don't have boobs in the back, so that may be why that works. And I'll put the round back and I'll put the sway back. And then if the back is too little, like the front's going to be, then I can add to the side seam. But for the front, we're going to do a full bust adjustment. Okay? So you guys have seen me do this so many times, unless you're new. I don't like this ruler, but it's the ruler I've got. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths? Right. So I'm just going to go all around with this red pencil, and I'm going to mark the side seams. Why? Because I'm going to sew this paper together. I'm going to sew it together like it was the material that I'm making the blouse out of. Yeah, I really am. I'm going to sew it together, and I'm going to try it on. Of course, I'm only going to try on half of it. You know, it's only going to be half a pattern. It'll go on one arm, and it'll go to the center of me on one side of me. Now, if you have a very uneven, if you're not the same on both sides, which I'm not, but I'm not so far off that I make 2 different patterns, but you could. You could do one for the left side of you, you could do one for the right side of you. My right side shoulder is a 1/2 inch lower than my left shoulder, so I just sew the shoulder in deeper later on. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to pin this together to this. But first, I'm going to make sure that it doesn't tear apart when I do it. So I am going to tape inside this red line. I haven't drawn it on the back yet, but I will. And I'm going to turn the camera off because this is boring. Nobody wants to watch me do this forever. I tear off about 2-inch pieces and I overlap them, and I use 1/2 inch tape. 1/2 inch tape, not 3/4. 3/4 is too wide, it makes a mess. Use 1/2 inch. Up here at the top, I got an extra long piece, so I'm going to put that up there where it's straight. At the shoulder. Why do I use 1/2 inch? Because Palmer and Plush told me to. And so once Philly and I figured out there was such a thing, and we started using it, we use it all the time because we like it. So you use 1/2 inch tape. And we use, is it called miracle tape or magic tape, or it's in the green box is the one we use. You can use removable tape too for other parts of this process. But for this part, we use permanent tape. And notice I'm putting it all on the front. Here's the neck. I'm going to tape underneath the neck. Yep. Why? Because you're going to pin this. This is paper. You're going to put pins in it. You're going to try it. You're going to be pulling it on your body. And on the armhole, you're going to have to cut it so the seam allowance will open up, or you're not going to know. You're not going to be able to get it on your body. And you want to be able to get it on your body. And when you do make it, and you do have it on your body, it's not going to have a seam allowance on it. The seam allowance is going to be sewn up. And so you've got to get rid of it for your try-on. And the way you do that is you tape, and then you snip. Oh, I hate that ruler. This is a thick ruler. Surely I have the kind of, here. You have to have a slap it down ruler. That's what you have to have, a slap it down ruler. Much, much better. Oh yes, much better. Oh, I like them. I lose track of what I have here and what I have at my other house. So I've been talking to you with the dead battery for I don't know how long. Oh, I hate when that happens. I wonder if I could buy a camera that lasted longer before it went dead, and you know, it needs to beep or something. So I assume you saw me draw all these red lines on here. These are seam allowances. I am pinning together. I am going from the seam allowance down. If you go from the seam allowance up, the pins are going to fall out, or they're going to stick you in the armpit. At the neckline, you pin them going away from your throat. If you don't, you'll be sorry, and you'll learn, and you'll do it that way later. I'm not going to pin it the whole way down. You don't pin the armhole. You've got to put your arm through here. Your arm's going to go through there, so you don't pin that. But you do clip it. And I clip it on an angle because it seems like angles don't tear as bad. So clip, you've got it taped. You've got the seam allowance taped, so it's not going to tear past this. It might tear out here, but you can tape that back together. I like to do it on an angle. So that's clipped, so your arm can go through. When you put it on, your arm can go through, see? And it opens up, the seam allowance spreads. Up here, we are going to clip the neck from the seam allowance toward the shoulder, so we don't stick that pin right in our throat. Pin just to that point that's going to fold down over your shoulder. There we go. Time to try it on my body. Now remember, I'm 75% or more moved out of this house. So none of the rooms are right. All the pictures are gone, the threads are gone, there's nails sticking out of the wall. So just ignore all that. I'm going to show you how you do this Palmer and Plesh method. Now I'm not Palmer and I'm not Plesh. But Philly and I have taken classes and we've studied it for years. And we really, really like it where you put the paper on. We like that. Now, of course, you've got to be in your bra and panties. But, you know, nobody wants to see old granny in her bra and panties. Now, if Philly was here, she would start with the back. And she would say, okay, this reaches your center back. See, isn't that amazing that it reaches my center back? But remember, it's a full style. So it's supposed to be a lot fuller than that. We want to check up here and see if this reaches my bone up here. And it doesn't. That's how I know I need a round back. Also, you can see you need a round back if you have a round back. But your number one clue is, if this red pencil seam line where your neck is going to end up doesn't reach up here, you need to measure. I'm sure mine's probably at least an inch. Then you've got to do a round back. How do you know if you need a sway back? It doesn't look like I need a sway back in this. If you need a sway back, let me move back here. If you need a sway back, the side seam will usually go like this, forward, see, like that. And so then when you do the sway back, it pulls it back to the middle of your side. But right now, on me, so I pull it to the center back, its side seam's perfect. So this does not require a sway back, but it definitely needs a round. All right, let's look at the front. We know the shoulder is supposed to fall off your shoulder, okay? My shoulder tip is here. This shoulder tip is clear out here. So we already knew that was gonna happen. And pardon my hair, been out in the rain and the thunderstorm earlier. So, this actually is not that far off, but remember, this pattern has a lot of ease in it. So, it's giving me a little extra ease, but still it's not reaching where it needs to reach. See, and you want to mark your apex. This is a real good time to mark your apex because that's where the FBA is going to be done too. So I'm going to play like that's a bust dart, and I'm going to mark my apex, which is right there. It could be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but right now that's where it looks like it is to me. Now, you can see, you pull this straight across, you can see that this is the center of the paper. The paper is the blouse. The center of the blouse does not come to my center. My center is way over here. Way over there. Far away. So, not that far. Get a measuring device. Hopefully unhook it from the wall and measure. Now I happen to know I usually need at least an inch or an inch and a quarter. So let me see if that comes to my center. If I was naked, which I will be in a minute when I turn the camera off, I'd be able to see where the center of my bra was. But right now it looks like it needs 1 more inch in order to reach the center of me. But notice this. Why do I make it from my upper bust measurement? Look at the top of it. Look at the center here. It comes right to my throat. Look at the shoulder. Now this one has a drop shoulder, but look here, this is in the center, it's perfect. Got a little ease, it's perfect. If I made the size 20, this right here would come all the way over to here. A horrible, horrible, horrible looking mess when you got through making it. It would be way too big up here. So this is good up here. We're gonna fix this so it reaches the center of me. And when I get through doing that, there will be 2 extra inches across the front of the rest of the way down. It'll have 2 more inches of ease. And the back, I can simply add to the side seam, and the back will have the ease that it needs. Now right there it kind of looks like I needed a sway back, but I'm all over the place and Philly isn't here. Yeah, it does not need a sway back, which I'm surprised. Yeah, very nice. It's kind of hard to get it to come down. Now here's another thing that you need to check in a lot of patterns. It's the shoulder slope. And without it fastened to me, when I'm in my bra, I will pin it up here. And then I will be able to squeeze it and see if it's the slope. If its slope is my slope. And it's actually very close. It's very close. Very close. Yes. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It may need to come in a little bit right here. But when I'm naked, I can see a lot better than I can see with this green top on. So, I'll be back when I'm back. Let me show you something real fast. When I turned the camera off and I took my shirt off and I put this back on, I ended up having to lower the shoulder. So much easier if you get somebody to help you, because somebody's got to make the back be still, and you can do that by pinning it to your bra. But if there's a way to pin it to your own bra, I haven't figured out what it is yet without sticking the pin clear through to my liver. So I need to slope the shoulder more. When I did, I discovered I do need a sway back. When I had my shirt on, I couldn't see it because the shirt's got all this extra fullness. I do need a sway back. And look at, I have a new apex where the green mark is. So now I have two apexes. Now, one good thing about two apexes is you can check it. You can measure between them. Usually I'm 8. You cut the 8.5 to 4. Then you know that between the center front, now that's the real center front, this one doesn't reach your center front. So between the real center front, which is 1 inch away, and your apex, mine should be 4 inches. And then you also can measure down from your shoulder to your apex. It's usually 11.5 on me. And so this comes out to 11.5 and 4 inches down and over. Then I know, that I've got it in the right place, or darn close. Just wanted to tell you that. So what am I going to go do now? I'm going to do the FBA. I'm going to do the round back and the sway back. Then I'm going to pin these two papers back together, and I'm going to try it on again. I wish I could get my husband up here to help me hold it, but it just drives him nuts. He never knows how to hold it or what to do, and he keeps telling me to stand still. Philly knows better than to ask me to stand still. It's impossible. So here I have put the full bust adjustment in. Now you've seen me do that so many times, and you can watch so many people, like I told you, on YouTube do it. You don't need to see me do it. You draw your straight line up to your apex. If you don't draw it, the people that I watched online didn't mark their apex. They used the apex on the pattern. Well, good luck figuring out where the apex on this pattern is, because I have no clue. Sometimes it's marked. But I like to find my own apex and then use it. So you draw a line straight up, straight, what do you call it? Parallel to center front, up to your apex. Then you draw a line over here to the armhole. Then you draw a line over here to the side seam where a buzz dart is supposed to be. Okay, then you add paper. So now, this is 1 inch. That gives me 2 inches extra width in the front of this top. And you can see this top has quite a bit of ease in it. I imagine someplace on the instructions it'll tell you how much ease it's supposed to have. But this is going to have how much ease I put in it. That's how much ease it's going to have. So you need to remember in the joy system where your apex was to begin with. Mine's right there to begin with. When I did the FBA and I moved this over 1 inch, it dropped part of the apex down to here. Now I saw one lady that used this apex because she said she knows her apex always is lower. Well, since I marked mine, and that's where mine started, and that's where mine's going to stay, I'm using this apex up here. If you didn't mark your apex, and you feel like yours is going to be down here now, then you use that apex. Okay? So what you have to do now is put the bust dart in. I like a French dart, but I'm not going to put a French dart. I'm just going to put the one that's already here, and I'm going to get my blue marker and my ruler. I'm going to slap it down, and my dart is going to be from right here and right here to 1.5 inches away from the apex up here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. I'll do a red one. I'm going to do a line all the way to the apex before I back it off, okay? So that's the whole way to the apex. There's something else that I need to do on this too before I finish this apex, but that's on me. You probably won't need to do it. Even though I started with a lower size for the top of me, this center front did come a little bit past my center front, and the top always gapes on me. So I am going to narrow the top, and that is going to make my bust dart bigger. Now there's more than one way that you can do that. You can draw this like I do to the back over to the arm. You can draw it over to the arm and you can cross it over that way. And that might suck a little bit out of here. It might be a better way to do it, really. Or you can mark it down to your apex, cut it, cross it over, and then it's going to make this bigger, is what it's going to do. Because you're going to have to cut this and make it bigger. But it chops your pattern up so much. I hate to do that. I hate to chop my pattern up so much. I told you I have tape on the front, tape on the back, tape all over me, tape all over the table, tape all over the tape dispenser. We thought you were so neat. Well, you thought wrong. Okay. So I'm going to slap my ruler down here between these two darts. And I'm going to find a measurement. And that is 2 inches, give or take a zillionth of a millimeter. And the center of it's right here. So I want to know where the center is so I can cut through the center. Do you have to cut through the center? I don't know, but I do. So I'm going to draw that line there because that's going to open up. And I'm going to draw a line up here to the top where my shirts always gape. It's one reason I don't like ready-to-wear. They always gape so bad on me. And you can see, here's where I marked the seam allowance. Are you asleep yet? Bored? 2 pieces? Now, I am going to cut this one the whole way. I'm not going to have a pivot point. I'm cutting the whole way through. So let's do that, and let's mess up our pretty pattern even more. If you have my problem and you're really, what do they call it, hollow-chested up at the top, you'll probably have to do this. I have to narrow the back neck too. And there you go. So see now how we have a pivot point right at the apex, not where the bust dart's going to end. You don't end your bust dart right on the apex. We have a pivot point right here, my apex, and we are going to close the neckline, 1/4 inch, and that is going to open up this bust dart area. More than 1/4 inch, I don't know what that's about, but let me see, I just kind of know how much I need. It might be 3/8, I just know. Because everything always gapes on me. All right, that is actually a 1/2 inch. I don't need that much. I need more like 3/8. I can't have music on or TV on or anything when I do this. I think Philly likes that. Boy, I don't. I'm like between 1/4 and 3/8. Now remember, this is half the pattern. So whatever you take in here, you're actually doing it twice, because you're taking it in on this side of the pattern and you're taking it in on the other side of the pattern, okay? So you're actually doing it twice. So that looks right to me. That's about what I always put. You could have, if you had someone to help you, it really helps to have somebody help you do this paper fitting. They could have held the back, attached it to your bra, come around to the front, pull this over, and then pinched out what you needed. But me, I needed like 5 hands and I only have 2. So now this is bigger. You stick more paper in there. You do a lot of paper sticking in this system. Let me cut the extra paper off the back. There might be enough. Can you see what I'm doing? I do now. Hello. I'm telling you. I was watching, what's her name? Whitney? Tomcat Stitcher, is her name Whitney? I think her name's Whitney. I know her name as well as mine. So you got to fill that in with paper now because you got that hole. That's probably not enough paper. Are you enough paper? You have to fold your dart shape. I'm just going to get a new piece because that doesn't seem like enough. Dr. Table paper is what I use. You use what you like. So yeah, it's about good. It's too much, but I'll cut off the extra. You want it sticking out the edge here because you're going to fold a new dart into this. Okay? So tape, tape, tape. Tape that down. Okay? And we're going to tape this. I haven't marked my dart yet. We're working from the apex. When you do alterations, you work from the apex. You don't work from the dart point. You put the dart point in when you're all done doing this. All right, so I'm going to back off the dart point. I'm going to back off the apex 1.5 inches. Slap your ruler down. 1.5 inches is right here. We need to find the middle of that. Let's use purple. We're going to call this our dart point. This is the apex. This is the point of the dart. The brand new dart. Right there. See that? There's my new dart. Now I'm just going to leave all this hanging out here because you've got to fold your dart. You fold the bottom to the top and then you cut your side seam. And then this paper will go away. You know, all this extra paper will go away and you'll have what you need to sew a dart. Because the dart has this funny point out here. So let's do that. Fold it all the way over to the tip of the dart, not the apex. We're folding the dart, not the apex. I think the rain must have finally put outside. And then you're going to have this difference here at the side. But I know that this is right up here at the top, that I need the 14, so I am just going to line it up as best I can, like that, and cut the new side. Remember, we know it's too small, it's too tight for me, but this is up at the top where I'm little. Now I cut this extra paper off the back. But see there? That's your dart shape right there. So come to the back and cut off all, you don't need all this extra, okay? Oh well. This is ready to cut out of fabric. It is. So, I'm so excited. I have to fix the back and probably make the sleeve a lot smaller. My arms are only 10 inches around up here. And patterns usually have like 200 inches of ease in them up there for some reason on me. So I'll get rid of that. But I'll do that later. I will make my muslin, which is your test garment, but I'm just going to make mine out of the real fabric because I've done this so many times. Dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Oh wait, I don't want to cut my new dart shape off. Don't mess up your new dart shape. That would be bad. I told you, there's going to be tape from here to the neighbor's house. Oh, that I cut off the top there. That was stupid, Joy. If you cut something off, put it back. There's so much paper. Alright, so can you see the dart shape? You will sew it in with the sewing machine and you will have a dart in a pattern that came with no dart. This is a woven, and wovens can have darts. A lot of people don't like to put darts in knits, but I do. Peggy Sayers does it, so I can do it. Okay? So there's my new front. Ready to cut out and try on. I'll be back when I get a muslin put together for you to look at. Yes, I made my blouse. I palmered and fleshed it. There was one thing I wanted to show you that I did that I always have to do, and that is with the sleeve. You know, the doctor, he ordered me to get a new pattern. And this one is a pattern that I've done before. Why are there so many wrinkles in my ironing board? Good grief. What happened to the ironing board cover? Anyway, let me show it to you real quick. I love this. This was one of many, many bolts lined up in a row at Joann's, like I told you. But I love the print on it. I love blues. I love things that go with blue jeans. And it turned out perfect fit. Perfect fit. So let me see if I can think of all the things I did to tell you. I lowered the front neck a tad because I took a tuck in it, and then I had to redo the curve so it came down a little bit. I took a tuck in the back neck over to the sleeve before the sleeve was in it, over to the arm's eye. I took a tuck in the back neck because it's always too big for me. So it came down a little bit. I put an FBA in it, and when I put the FBA in the size 14, that added 2 inches across the front. So I decided that since I had 2 inches across the front, I probably should add more to the back, and I did. So I added to the side seams in the back only in the back, and I added 2 inches to it. And I put an inch at the bottom and kind of narrowed it all the way up to the 14. Fits me perfect, so glad I did that. But the one thing I did that I haven't shown you very much, let me grab it. You know how I do my envelopes. There's no way I can ever get those pattern pieces back in the envelope they came in. No way. So is this the sleeve? Yes, this is the sleeve. Now this has 4 different sleeves in it. And I started to do a different one, and then I decided that the sleeve was way too wide, and I didn't like it, and I had to narrow it so much that I didn't really think that the one with the ruffle going up it probably would be fine. I'm going to try it next. I wish I had bought 5 yards of this fabric because I love the print. So here is the sleeve. I have taken 3 inches out of the length. 3 inches. This is 2 inches, and this is 1 inch. Because I like my 3/4 sleeve short, like this one. I made this blouse. I like my 3/4 sleeve there. I think the reason I like that is their 3/4 sleeve comes out right at the fattest part of my body. And I don't want anything down there widening me. And I like more of my arm to show, even though my veins are as big as earthworms. I don't like my humongous veins, but thank God I've got veins. Or I'd be dead. Okay? So So thing one, I took 3 inches out of the length. Thing two, up here, you can see it's a size 14. Down here, can you see how the lines got less and less and less and less and less and less? Down here, it's a size 8. My wrist is 5 inches. They had 9 or 10 inches going around my, well, not my wrist, my right here. Okay, so right here where my 3/4 sleeve is, I am 9 inches. And this, at the size 8, is 12 inches. At the size 8. Before I ever did any of these adjustments to the sleeve, I pinned it together, Palmer and Plush way, and I put it on me. And the sleeve was just humongous. So that's how I fixed my sleeve. Now a lot of people probably would have to do the opposite and make it longer and wider. But this is me. I just wanted to show you how I came up with the sleeves that I came up with. So here's my new. I've got black sweatpants on right now, so you know, this top isn't made to go with black sweatpants. But I really like the neck. See how it hugs me? It's not gaping. See how the back? Let me see how the back. Pardon me, you know I'm moving, so the room's a mess. Although we're not moving yet. I put a round back, I put a sway back. I made the arms shorter and narrower, and I still, half an inch maybe, would shorten them again. FBA, narrow the neck in the front, narrow the neck in the back. Did I already say that? You can almost say I make my own patterns. But super cute. And I love the fabric. Not the fabric so much, I'm sure it's just a cheap Joann's cotton, but I love the print of it. You know, I've listened to, you know, a whole bunch of style people on YouTube. Some of them I can't stand what they wear. One lady especially, oh, she'll put on anything from Walmart. And some of them I think look absolutely horrible on her. But a lot of people have said that the big prints are out. And if you're a granny, you shouldn't wear giant prints anyway. And so I've decided that I like these more ditzy prints for a woven blouse. I like it. Now my red dress that I showed you, it's got big flowers. You want to see it on me? Raise your hand if you want to see the red dress on me. Oh my gosh, all of you want to see it? Well, okay, let me take off my white socks and my black sweatpants and I'll be back. Okay, now I don't have my Spanx on, I don't have my slip on, I don't have my stockings or my shoes. But play like I do. So, comfortable stretch knit, not real stretchy. I got this from my favorite. Let me check out that sway back there. Did I need to put a sway back? I need to put waist tuck. I could put some waist tucks right there, you guys. But this is, this I won't, because I want it to become, now when I have a slip on, it won't hang on my butt. It'll hang nice. I'll give you a little tip. When you sew for yourself, whatever you're making, make it with the underwear you're going to wear with it. Okay? I only have one kind of bra. I've got like 10 of them. They're all exactly the same. I only wear one kind of underpants. They're all exactly the same. So I never have to worry about my underwear. But in this case, I will have undergarments on that keep it from hanging on my hips. I'll have a slip, a long slip, you know, slinky, and it'll hang nicely over that. And I'll have my Spanx on that will hopefully hold some of the blubber in and not strangle me. I just think it's cute. What do y'all think? No, don't tell me. If you don't like it, don't tell me, okay? Because it'll hurt my feelings. So this is the end of this particular one. And let me know below in the comments, because that helps my channel too. Let me know below in the comments if you learned anything from watching me and what you're making. And Are you enjoying this wonderful spring weather like I am? I love you all. Goodbye for now.